Monsanto's risky move into the unknown was one of the most controversial in agriculture. The millennium was a turning point for the world, while reliable, traditional farming systems were straining under a growing global population. Because crops were susceptible to weather, pests, and disease, food scarcity looked inevitable. Then came Monsanto, a modest chemical corporation with a bold ambition that would defy centuries of farming history and shake the food market. Against all odds, Monsanto took a move that would disrupt agriculture and change how mankind grows, harvests, and feeds itself. Their response? GMOs, a scientific innovation that can improve crops in ways never before possible.
It can be difficult to make an informed judgment on the safety of genetically modified organisms, or GMOs.
This story goes beyond invention, the dangers that transform the planet, and the cost of development. Keep watching because this video will change how you see food and its forces. With billions invested in biotechnology, Monsanto became the leading pioneer in developing crops designed to withstand herbicides and pests, promising farmers higher yields and lower costs. But what began as a scientific innovation quickly turned into a global debate, pitting profits against ethics and progress against public resistance. Monsanto's billion-dollar gamble not only fueled unprecedented financial success, but also ignited one of the most contentious conversations in modern agriculture. This is the story of how one company's bet on GMOs changed the future of farming and the world. In the early 2000s, Monsanto, a once small chemical company, made a bold bet that would forever change the landscape of modern agriculture. Genetically modified organisms, GMOs. At a time when global food security was becoming an increasingly pressing issue, Monsanto emerged as the dominant force in biotechnology. The company's foray into GMOs became both a lightning rod for controversy and a driving force behind massive profits and innovations that reshaped global farming practices. Monsanto was not new to agriculture by the time it launched its first genetically engineered seeds. Since its founding in 1901, the company had evolved from a chemical producer to a global agricultural giant, most notably developing herbicides like Roundup. But it was in the 1990s that Monsanto took its billion-dollar gamble on GMOs. The first major breakthrough came with the creation of Roundup-ready crops, which were genetically modified to withstand Monsanto's signature herbicide. By 1996, the first Roundup-ready soybean hit the market, and Monsanto's dominance in the agricultural biotech sector grew rapidly. This marked the beginning of a global shift in farming practices. The GMO crops offered farmers higher yields, reduced the need for tilling, and made weed control easier, boosting productivity. But this innovation didn't come without significant financial risk. The research and development costs behind these genetically engineered seeds were staggering, with Monsanto investing billions to ensure the success of their product line. Monsanto's bet on GMOs paid off tremendously, transforming the company from a leading herbicide producer into a global biotechnology powerhouse. By the early 2000s, Monsanto had cemented its status as the world leader in agricultural biotechnology, primarily driven by the success of its genetically modified seed business. The introduction of Roundup-ready crops, which were engineered to resist the company's herbicide, quickly gained traction with farmers looking to boost productivity and simplify weed management. These innovations revolutionized farming practices, making genetically modified organisms, GMOs, an integral part of global agriculture. The financial returns were staggering. In 2004, Monsanto's sales from GM crops surged past $4.9 billion, with significant growth driven by widespread adoption in the United States, Brazil, and Argentina. Farmers, drawn to the promise of increased yields and lower pesticide costs, embraced the technology at unprecedented rates. Monsanto's engineered crops, particularly soybeans, corn, and cotton, became the seeds of choice for large-scale agricultural operations, contributing to a steady rise in the company's profits. In addition to direct seed sales, Monsanto capitalized on its proprietary technology by licensing its genetic traits to other seed companies, generating an additional revenue stream. This combination of direct sales and licensing agreements propelled Monsanto to the forefront of the industry and solidified its dominance in the rapidly expanding global market for GM crops. Monsanto's most significant profit surge came from its innovative and highly strategic use of licensing agreements, which allowed the company to generate revenue not only from direct sales of its genetically modified seeds, but also by licensing its cutting-edge biotechnology to other seed companies. By the mid-2000s, Monsanto had crafted a business model that turned its intellectual property into a global cash engine. Instead of solely relying on its own sales network, Monsanto licensed its patented genetic traits, such as herbicide tolerance and insect resistance, to competing seed companies, which integrated Monsanto's technology into their own crop offerings. This allowed farmers worldwide to access Monsanto's biotech innovations through multiple channels, further cementing the company's dominance in the agricultural sector. This approach unlocked exponential growth for Monsanto. In 2009, licensing fees alone contributed over $1.4 billion to the company's revenue, a significant portion of its overall income. By collaborating with other seed producers, Monsanto maximized its reach and established a near-ubiquitous presence in global agriculture, ensuring that its genetically modified traits were planted on millions of hectares worldwide. This licensing strategy also minimized operational risks for Monsanto, allowing the company to collect royalties without directly shouldering the cost of manufacturing and distributing seeds in every market. As the adoption of GMOs spread across continents, the licensing model fueled the rapid expansion of Monsanto's market influence. Brazil, Argentina, and India emerged as critical markets, with farmers in these regions flocking to Monsanto's GMO traits, particularly for crops like soybeans, corn, and cotton. In Brazil, where soybeans are a cornerstone of the economy, Monsanto's Roundup Ready seeds dominated, accounting for a majority of the country's soybean production by the late 2000s. Similarly, in Argentina, nearly 100% of soybean crops were genetically modified by this time, with Monsanto seeds playing a crucial role in the country's agricultural boom. This was just the beginning, as Monsanto continued to refine its GMO offerings. Between 2005 and 2010, the company's revenue more than doubled, reaching over $11.8 billion by 2010, with GMOs accounting for a substantial portion of the profits. This staggering increase in revenue was fueled by the adoption of Roundup Ready soybeans, corn, and cotton by millions of farmers around the world. India, a major cotton-producing country, also saw widespread adoption of Monsanto's Bt cotton, genetically engineered to resist the bollworm pest. By the end of the decade, over 90% of India's cotton fields were planted with Bt cotton, marking a dramatic transformation in the country's agricultural practices. These markets became powerhouses for Monsanto's global growth, and its licensing agreements ensured that even in regions where Monsanto wasn't directly selling seeds, it still reaped financial rewards from the widespread adoption of its technology. Monsanto's licensing agreements were not just a business strategy, but a means of embedding its technology deep into the fabric of global agriculture. This approach ensured that Monsanto's influence extended far beyond its own operations, making it a central player in shaping modern farming worldwide, while driving billions in revenue from markets it otherwise might not have directly penetrated. Farmers around the globe quickly recognized the benefits of Monsanto's GMO seeds. By 2010, genetically engineered crops were grown on 148 million hectares worldwide, with the U.S. leading the charge. In the U.S., more than 90% of soybeans, corn, and cotton were planted with GMO seeds by 2010, a testament to how quickly the agricultural sector had shifted toward genetically modified crops. The appeal for farmers was simple: higher yields, reduced crop loss, and lower input costs. With Roundup Ready crops, farmers could apply glyphosate-based herbicides like Roundup directly to their fields without harming their crops, effectively controlling weeds that would otherwise choke their plants. Additionally, Monsanto's insect-resistant GMO crops, particularly Bt cotton, helped reduce pesticide use and protected crops from pests like the cotton bollworm. In countries like Brazil and Argentina, the adoption of GMOs transformed local agriculture. Argentina saw record growth in its soybean production, with GMO soybeans accounting for nearly 100% of its total crop by the early 2010s. Brazil followed suit, with over 80% of its soybean crops genetically modified. These countries became key players in global agriculture, supplying significant portions of the world's soybeans, much of which were exported to major markets like China. In India, Bt cotton became a game changer. After its introduction in 2002, cotton farmers saw their yields increase and pesticide costs decrease. By 2010, more than 90% of India's cotton fields were planted with Bt cotton, helping the country emerge as the world's second-largest cotton producer. Even though Monsanto was profitable, GMOs were opposed. GMOs first met popular opposition, especially in Europe. Critics questioned the safety of GMOs, their environmental impact, and seed patenting. Europe opposed GMOs and banned or restricted their cultivation in some EU countries. Monsanto's entry into important European markets was hampered. U.S. public opinion on GMOs was split. Consumer advocacy groups and environmental groups warned about GMOs' long-term effects, but many farmers adopted the technology. Monsanto was sued for unfairly enforcing patents against small farmers. Media coverage of these lawsuits fueled the David versus Goliath storyline between Monsanto and traditional farming methods. Seed patenting raised ethical issues. Critics said that Monsanto's seed control hampered farmer autonomy because they couldn't save seeds for future plantings. The company's legal department aggressively pursued patent breaches, drawing public scrutiny. Despite the controversy, Monsanto's billion-dollar GMO gamble changed modern agriculture. Over 17 million farmers in 29 nations planted GM crops in 2010. Many locations saw higher yields, higher farm profitability, and lower pesticide use due to the technique. One of the greatest agricultural business purchases, Bayer AG bought Monsanto for $63 billion in 2018. This acquisition showed the worth of Monsanto's biotechnology pioneering work, particularly its GMOs and advanced agriculture technologies. In addition to boosting its market footprint, Bayer wanted to integrate Monsanto's revolutionary GMO seeds and agricultural solutions into its own portfolio, merging expertise in seeds and crop security. With this acquisition, Bayer became a worldwide agriculture powerhouse that could meet food production and sustainability needs in a world with climate change, resource scarcity, and population expansion. The deal highlighted agricultural consolidation's reach. Bayer sought to control the whole agricultural input supply chain, from seeds to chemicals to data-driven farming solutions, as competition rose. Bayer liked Monsanto because it could combine crop protection and GMO technology. Bayer's chemical pest control and crop management solutions work with Monsanto's pest and herbicide-resistant GMO seeds. The deal gave Bayer Monsanto's digital agricultural expertise. Farmers optimized planting, watering, and harvesting with Monsanto's data analytics and AI. Bayer delivered cutting-edge precision agriculture technology that enhanced production and reduced environmental impact with these digital tools and resources. Bayer sought to capitalize on smart farming and environmental developments that will influence global agriculture. However, acquisition was hard. Monsanto's aggressive patent enforcement, Roundup's environmental impact, and GMO safety were long condemned in agriculture. Bayer bought these Monsanto controversies, sparking global outrage from environmentalists, farmers, and consumers. After the acquisition, Roundup's possible cancer link prompted a wave of lawsuits, putting Bayer under legal and financial pressure. Despite these obstacles, the acquisition improved Bayer's global agriculture leadership. Monsanto's cutting-edge GMO technology and commercial reach helped Bayer fulfill the agriculture industry's rapidly changing needs. The acquisition enables Bayer to capitalize on global demand for innovative food production, crop protection, and sustainability solutions, showcasing biotechnology's potential in agriculture. Looking back, Monsanto's GMO risk changed agriculture. The company transformed biotechnology and prompted ethical, environmental, and economic concerns. While GMO debates persist, Monsanto had a major impact on agriculture and global food production. Monsanto's billion-dollar GMO gamble spawned a new biotech farming sector that made big profits, increased farmer yields, and sparked public outrage. As the world relies on biotechnology for food, Monsanto's bet remains one of the most influential and contentious in agriculture. Thanks for watching. Did Bayer buy Monsanto correctly? Share your thoughts below. See you later.